Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm coming to you guys with another palette review, and it is a holiday palette, and it is the Kat Von D Matte Metals palette. And I ordered this palette from Sephora.com, and the palette retailed for $60. And I just received the palette in the mail today, so I wanted to go ahead and get my review out on this palette before I receive other palettes, and like I said, and have them stacked on top of each other. So today I'm going to be doing swatches for you, as well as an eyeshadow tutorial on this look. And this is really a first impressions on this palette. It's really, I guess it's really not a first impressions because I do own the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. So I'm really not sure if, you know, they swatch the same. I hadn't swatched them yet. I've only used them on my eyes with a brush, and I can say that they work very well that way. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing my thoughts, an eyeshadow tutorial, and swatches on the new Kat Von D MetalMatte palette, then just keep on watching. Alright guys, so jumping right into the palette, I'm just going to show you how the outside of the packaging looks. And on one side it says metal, and then if you flip the package around it says matte. And on the back of the package it just has everything that is in the palette. I absolutely love the artwork of this palette. The palette is huge, but I mean, I kind of feel like it'll be really easy to store because it's really slim. And it does come with this little card to give you little eyeshadow ideas. And it comes with the steps just in case you wanted to use the card to do those steps. And now we're going to get on to the actual palette. And this is how the palette looks. Like I said, it is nice and sleek, so it should be easy to store. As far as it's really long, but it should be easy to store because it's really thin. So on the back you just have the name of the shades, and then on the front of the packaging it's just like the outside packaging. It says metal, and when you turn it around it says matte. And then I'm just gonna open it up, and you get a nice size mirror in this palette. And I'm just going to show you what the shadows look like. So this is just how the palette looks. Now I am going to be swatching these for you guys today. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into the swatches. Alright guys, so I swatched the matte shades first. I'm just going to tell you what they are. They are linen, jet, velour, stone, moss, ribbon, silk, fringe, feather, oak, suede, bone, and velvet. And that is just what it looks like. And here are the swatches. This one is linen, which is a white, a pure white shade. This one is jet. This is the black matte. Velour, which is this really pretty matte blue. And then you have stone, which is like a really dark gray. Moss, which is a really deep green. Ribbon, which is a deep purple. And then you have silk, which looks more of like a, I don't know, it looks more of like a pink in the palette to me. But then it kind of looks like really like purple also. Then you have fringe, which looks, I don't know, fringe doesn't look the same on camera as it does on my arm. This is fringe. I don't know if you're seeing the true color of it, but it looks kind of like a peachy shade, but it doesn't look like that on my arm. Well, I guess it's my lighting, because it looks like that on my arm. It just doesn't look like that when I have it to the camera. The next shade is feather, which is like a yellowish shade. It looks like a banana shade. The next shade is oak, which is the shade that I tried to use as my transition color today, but it turned out way too dark, so I had to switch to something else. Then this is suede, which is just like a nude color. This is bone, which is also kind of like it's a cream. And then this is velvet, which is, it's kind of like a burgundy shade, like a wine, a deep burgundy. And those are all of the matte shades. Alright guys, so now I'm going to tell you about the shimmery row, and it is Nubella, I think, Wait, Ignite, Tinsel, Glitz, Twinkle, Volt, Synergy, and Flash. And that is the top row of shimmers. Let me try to turn my ring light off to see if these really light colors will show up. Alright, so I turned my ring light off because I wanted to see if the colors would show more true to color, the lighter colors, because it seemed like my ring light was just blinding. So I already showed you the names of the shadows, and I'm just going to show them to you on my arm. And these are the shimmery shades. These are some gorgeous shades. And the first shade is Nubella, I think. This is a shade that I have on my lid. The next shade is Watt. The next shade is Ignite. Tinsel, which is a really pretty silver, but this one has the most glitter in it. It has the most fallout. Like, it has a lot of kick up. I use this shadow in my inner tear duct today. And then you have Glitz. Twinkle, which is kind of like a pastel purple. And then you have Volt, which is like a burgundy shade. Then you have Synergy, which is a really pretty bronze. And then this really pretty gold is Flash. So these are the shimmer shades in the palette. And I'll just show you how the palette looks again. Alright guys, so I really think that the quality on this palette is great. However, I mean, if you are someone like me that loves neutral palettes, and you know, you typically don't go for a really dark, dramatic, smoky eye, I really don't know how you would like this palette, because I mean, it has some really unique colors in it. And I mean, this is, it's not your everyday palette. So if you're looking for a palette to just like put in your stash, you know, if you are a Kat Von D fan and you like collecting her palettes, this is a really good palette. But as far as, you know, is it usable? I mean, for everyday use, I would say no. Because I mean, this is, honestly, when I did the eyeshadow look on this, with this palette, I didn't know what I was going to do going into the palette. I just kind of freestyled it, and this is what I came up with. But this is not a palette that, I mean, I don't see myself reaching for this palette at all, because I mean, unless I'm maybe doing a video, or you know, I don't know, even if I'm going out on a date or something like that with my fiance, I really don't see myself reaching for this palette. So I mean, I'm not sure. I really love the quality of the shadows. They are amazing shadows, especially the shimmer shades and all of the matte shades, I think, except for Fringe. Fringe swatched like a little sheer to me. I had to go over that a couple of times, but that really was the only one. But the shadows blend so nice on the eyes. I mean, I may just keep the palette just so I can have it in my collection, because I mean, I don't know, these are some unique colors, and some of the colors, like this moss shade and this silk, let me see, Ignite, probably, I think those are probably it. Fringe, those are shades that I don't have in my collection. So, and I don't know if they are easily dupable. I mean, I'm not sure. I would have to check and see. But I mean, this green matte shade is beautiful. This shade swatches amazingly, and as you can see from my eyes, they apply really well. Like, I didn't have any problem with patchiness when I applied them to my eyes. I mean, they worked really great. My only thing with this palette is, will I use it? I don't think that I will use this palette. I don't think that I will reach for it every day, simply because I'm not the type to wear really dark, bold, smoky eyes like this. I love a smoky eye, but you know, these colors I probably would never wear. So yeah, that is my review on the Kat Von D Matte Metal Palette. Like I always say, if anything, just go into Sephora and swatch the palette. I know that the palette is available in Sephora now, and I think that it is available on her website, katvond.com. I will have both of those linked in the description box down below. But yeah, I think this palette is available in stores, but if you are not able to get to a store, that's why I wanted to show you swatches of the palette and just show you how they look on deeper skin tones. So yeah, that wraps up my review on the Kat Von D Matte Metal Palette. And if you guys are interested in seeing an eyeshadow tutorial on this look, then keep on watching. Alright guys, so I'm starting out with my brows already done, and now I'm going to be using my MAC Paint Pot in Laying Low to prime my eyes. Alright, next up, to set my paint pot in place, I'm going to be going into my Kat Von D palette. I'm going to be using the shade Bone, and it's a really pretty ivory shade. It's like an off-white, but it looks white on camera, but it is off-white. I'm just using that to set my brow bone. Sorry, to set my lid. And then I'm going in with the shade Oak, and I'm using that as my transition color, but I really didn't like how it looked in my transition because I thought that it was too dark. So eventually I switched to something else. Like, I like something with more red undertones, warm undertones in my crease. So now I'm just going into my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm just going to take this shade that reminds me of Brown Script by MAC, and I'm going to place that in my transition area. Alright, next up I'm going to be taking the shade Silk, and I'm going to take this shade and blend it into my crease, and it's just like a light purple. Alright, next up I'm going to be going into the shade Ribbon, and Ribbon is just a really deep purple. It's really pretty. And I'm just using that to give my crease a little definition. Alright, and now I'm going to be going into one of the shimmer shades. No, sorry. I'm going to be taking Velvet, and I'm going to be placing that right above the crease, which I really don't know why I did that. It didn't serve a purpose, but alright, now I'm going into the shade Twinkle, which is a really pretty light purple, and it's on the Metal Crush shade. So I'm putting some shimmer in the crease, but I'm going to keep it really low in the crease. I'm going to make sure not to go above the crease. Alright guys, next up for my lid, I'm going to be taking this really pretty blue shade called Nebula, and I'm going to be wetting my brush first with some e.l.f. setting spray so that shade can show up a lot more metallic. And I think I pronounced this wrong during my swatches, but it's Nebula. Alright guys, next to blend that out, I'm going to be going back into the shade Ribbon, and I'm just going to put that back in my crease, and I'm going to use this to blend out the edges of that blue shade. And then I'm going to be going back on top of that with the shade Silk. Alright, next up I'm going to be going into the black in the palette, and it's called Jet. I mean, you guys can go ahead and smoke it out. I'm only going to add this to the outer V. I'm not going to take it into the crease at all. I'm just going to keep it on the outer V. Alright, next up to line my eyes, I'm going to be using my Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper. And then I'm just going to go into my waterline with my Rimmel London Scandalize in the shade Purple. And then I'm going to go back into the palette into the shade Jet, and I'm going to use this in places close to the lash line as possible. Alright, next up to help me blend out that black, I'm going to be going into the shade Ribbon, and I'm just going to take this on another Morphe brush. I'm not sure what the number is. I'll link it in the description box. And it's going to smudge that out. And then I'm going to go into the shade Silk. And I'm just going to use this to help smudge that out. I guess make it more smoky. Alright guys, for my inner tear duct, I'm going to be using the shade Tinsel, and this is the only shade that it has a lot of kick up. This shade just feels like pure glitter. Next, for my blush, I'm going to be using the NYX Ombre blush in the shade Mauve It. And next up for my highlighter, I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in the shade Sweets. And I'm going to take the shade Taffy, and I'm just going to highlight with that. And since I did use some purples on the lid, I'm going to go on top of that with the shade Sassy Grape. And I didn't show it on camera, but I also put Sassy Grape. I use Sassy Grape as my brow bone highlight. Alright, so for the lips, I wanted to keep it nude, so I'm using ColourPop's Aquarius. And then I'm just going to spray my face with my NYX First Base Primer Spray. And that completes the look. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos from me. And don't forget that I will be posting my 1,000 subscriber video. So don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win. Until the next video.